Thanksgiving begins a very special time of the year for us. It's the time of peace and reflection, and of getting ready for the new year. One thing we should all be thankful for is that we live in America, where we have the freedom to change things and the opportunity to...
Welcome to the Drunk Turkey Show, starring Big Blue.
Can I say hi, Kim?
Hi. Oh, I love you. You are just like a giant.
Or improvisation.
Lady Liberty just squirted in my face. And when you do drink with a straw, the myth is you get more drunk because you get more air mixed in.
Hi, Maggie.
Like, you know how the fan's going like this? It goes, ooh, yeah, when it hits my butthole. Last time I went to Mexico, I stopped by a little stand and the lady had gloves. I was like, lady, take off those gloves. I need that shit.
It wasn't.
I'm drinking beer so you can feel good and like it tastes good. What the hell's the point of this?
And Daniel J.
I got a friend named Jonathan Martinez who's not allowed in the library. Yo puede hablar español cuando yo te mando. You look very handsome tonight, LJ.
Every day, it's an everyday thing. I gotta
wake up because his excellence.
Y'all watch them every Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. I get to see them every day. I get to see that. I get to see those chicks every day. And what's on his face?
And the other ones.
3000, it still sucks. This is Philip J. Fry, and you're listening to the Drunken Turkey Show. Your one stop for this sort of thing. Hit that button, like and subscribe. You know what to do, just like every other podcast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Drunk Turkey Show. We are your hosts. I'm Daniel. This is Jaime. This is Big Blue. Hope y'all are having a fantastic evening. Jaime, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm having some stomach issues right now.
That's why
I'm drinking water.
I'm with you, brother. I'm with you on that one. Big Blue, are you feeling extra fine tonight?
I'm feeling good, but I have to work tonight, so I can't drink tonight.
Oh man, so it's a sober Monday. It's a sad Monday.
It's okay.
It's all good. It's all good. So today we're going to be doing a little bit something different, right? We're going to take a break from the true crime stuff and dig into a little bit of something I find a little bit embarrassing when it comes to our country. And that's going to be the leaked documents that were leaked out from the Pentagon. There's been an arrest made. Jack Teixeira has been arrested, 21 years old. He's an IT guy for the Air Force. He's a basically, long story short, he's a just one of those reserves. So he's not there all the time. Just a weekend warrior. Let's see, Air National Guard. Huh?
I heard he was in active duty.
He was active. They activated him, but he was just an Air National Guardsman, so he was only working partially. And nothing wrong with that. You know, they support our nation and everything, and we support our troops. And so, but yeah, he wasn't active, or he was active at the time, but he was a Air National Guardsman. Apparently, leaked like 50 or so documents on Discord. First and foremost, what are your initial thoughts on the fact that some documents, some very top secret documents of the United States were released? We'll start off with you, Jaime.
I'm surprised more hasn't been released or leaked, honestly. And you know what? Like I expected a news outlet to leak them before anything. I did not expect it to be leaked through a Minecraft's Discord server.
Right. Yeah, that was the other thing that was pretty odd, right? It was a Minecraft Discord server. Big Blue, what were your thoughts on the leaked documents?
I was pretty surprised where it got leaked at. I thought it was going to be, probably somebody working at one of the international offices got hacked or something, and then it was one of their own guys,
Yeah. So the first thing that keeps coming out, right, is what is a guy? They're talking about his age, right? They're saying he's 21 years old. What was he doing with access to these type of documents? I'll for one say, he comes from a military family, so from what I understand, he's been interested in the military. So there's a good possibility he was like an ROTC and things of that nature. Yeah. And so if he was in high school and he was planning on going into the military, that usually leads into a higher start, right? You end up getting ranked a little bit faster. You go into basic, you come out of basic, a higher rank than normally or normal enlisted Army, Air Servicemen, etc. And so, in my opinion, he went in there with some rank. He's 21 years old. If he went straight out of college, high school, that leads you to believe that it's a possibility he's 3 years in, and if he was ROTC, he could be I'm not sure what his rank is. Have y'all seen what his rank was?
I think if he went out of high school and was an ROTC in the Army, I know he will enter as probably a specialist.
Right, and then 3 years in, you would assume that he was at least a sergeant.
Yeah, at least.
You know what I'm saying? So that I haven't been able to see whether what his rank was. And if you guys know in the live chat, please let us know. I think that's important. Now, his job was in IT, and a lot of folks are like, why did he have access to these type of documents? And I can tell you guys, when I was in the military, when I joined the Army, I was intel. I had top security clearance as well. I was also 18 when I got my security clearance. So you don't have to be, it's not an age thing, and majority of our military sign up at a very young age. And so I was IT as well. And one of the reasons why somebody of this age or just an IT guy would have access to this would be if he's a computer guy and the computer ended up getting a virus, then the IT guy would have to have security clearance to go into everything that's in that computer, right? That's why, for instance, if somebody put a virus in Bob Lazar's folder, they put a virus there, he would have to have that top security clearance to go into that folder to try to clean that up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So they're saying he's Airman first class. So, man, I'm not familiar with the Air Force. I think that's like a specialist.
No,
E3, E4. I'm gonna look that up real quick. I'm not familiar with the Air Force. Airman first class is what rank?
I remember when I joined, my captain at the time was like almost my age, man. I joined at 19, and he was like 22 or something.
Oh yeah.
And it was crazy to see like your drill sergeants a lot older, like in their 40s and whatnot, like taking orders from someone so young.
Yeah. No, dude, it is. I remember when I was in basic training. I went to Fort Jackson, relaxing Jackson, and I was we were in the liaison office, and back then you needed a battle buddy everywhere you go, right? And so we went to, it was actually medical. And I almost got into a fight at medical with this other soldier. So what had occurred was I was standing in the hallway waiting for my battle buddy to go do whatever it is that he needed to do. Oh, okay. Thank you, Alice. We appreciate that. And so I'm waiting there, and we had a certain time that we had to be back. And so I see him, and I point at my watch, and I say, it's 1:30, right? Or whatever time it was. And this guy goes, "Are you doing gang signs?" And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Are you throwing gang signs on battalion or whatever?" And I was like, "Dude, I'm just telling this guy what time it is." Now, this dude was a E2. I could tell from his rank. And so I didn't think I thought he was still in basic training. I did notice that his shoes were extra shiny compared to everybody else. And so I was like, man, maybe this guy's not in basic training. But I was like, nah, man, he's an E2 or an E1. No, he was an E1. And I was like, how are you an E1 out of basic? There's no way. You get promoted really quickly, especially at that time. When I went into the military, it was during the Iraqi freedom war that was going on. And so at that time, people were rising rank pretty quick. And I didn't think anything of it. So we got into a big old disagreement. Next thing I know, apparently he worked there, but he was being a super douche, man. One of the other guys that was one of my other battle buddies, actually did get in a fight with that guy later on in the latrine. It was pretty crazy. But that guy just had like a stick up his butt, and he thought he was better than everybody because he had already graduated from basic. And we're like, dude, we're all here on the same team. Nobody's throwing gang signs. We're just checking what time it is. Big Blue, did you ever consider joining the military when you were in high school, or is that something that you were like, nah, I'm not gonna do?
I did for a little bit, man, but I've always been a big guy, and the weight loss what got me, man. I would have to lose like 80 pounds, and I wasn't that determined.
Yeah, like screw that. Yeah, man, I had to lose some weight too, man, to get in. It sucked because I lost like 80, 85 pounds to join the army. And what happens is they don't go by your height. They go by your height and weight, which doesn't factor in your muscle mass, right? And so I was literally like super anorexic skinny and still barely making the threshold because of my muscle mass. Like, for instance, when I was an officer, I weighed around 220 pounds with a BMI of 18. And so it wasn't very high with my BMI, and I was very heavy, which meant I lifted a lot of weights. And so to get down to that weight, even before then, it was a struggle for me. It was a huge struggle. And so,
weight, man.
Huh? Dude, I did it first too.
Yeah, I went in like at 150, and by the time basic and when I got to my permanent duty station, I was like at 180. I was like, what the hell?
Was it push-ups?
It was push pops, I think.
Push pops. Yeah. When I went in, I was about 185, 190. No, 182, 185. And I had lost about 80 pounds. So I was a pretty heavy guy, right? Yeah. And so I remember I weighed myself probably about a month after basic, and I was like at 195, and I was like, whoa, what the hell? I don't know what's going on here. And that was at that point we were still eating at the latrine and whatnot. So they had not the latrine, at the chow hall. This was before you go out. Yeah, this is before you go out on your march and stuff. So we're eating at the chow hall, and dude, like the food there was pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie. They gave us like crap ton of food every damn day, and so I had to put myself on a diet there. That, and I think the push-ups helped me gain some muscle mass because I did a lot of them. Did you ever get smoked, Hyman?
Plenty of times.
Well, what was the reason good food? I said the wrong word, huh?
Like contraband, like it's because they would give us like weekend passes and whatnot. So like people will bring back like from anything from junk food to to alcohol.
Yeah.
Cigarettes, nicotine, anything like that, and we'll get smoked out. They find that phone, anything like that.
Dude, real quick story. So I get enlisted, right, and my height and weight still wasn't where it needed to be. So I had to be at like 179. I was like at 185, right? And they had something at the time called the ARMS test, which is the Army Recruitment Management and Strength Test or something like that. And everybody had to do it. But if you were over the weight limit, that would give you an option to get in, right? And so I went in there. I was over the weight. So they're like, hey, you have to pass the ARMS test. And apparently it was pretty tough. Chris, I said the wrong word, buddy. I say the wrong words every now and then. And so I passed the ARMS test, which to the surprise of the sergeant there at MEPS. And he's like, man, I haven't seen anybody pass this test that was overweight. Good job. But you only have 30 days to show up in basic. And so I was like, all right, no big deal. So I show up, right, and I go to South Carolina. And when we arrived there, it was probably around 9:00, right? And so it was about 9 p.m. By the time we got our trunks, our shirt, turned in all our shit, everything, it was probably around 4:00 in the morning by the time, about 3:45 by the time we made it back to the barracks. And so I closed my eyes. They told us, hey, we're going to let you sleep in. We're going to let y'all sleep till 6:30. And I was like, man, that's not sleeping in. But I was like, whatever, right? And so my dumb ass ended up getting the bunk all the way at the end, right in the corner. I closed my eyes because they turned off the lights. I closed my eyes and it felt like a second, and I opened them, and everybody's gone, and lights are on. And I was like, oh shit. And so I was in Delta Company, where in South Carolina they had drill sergeant school at, right? And where I was at battalion was Delta Company, where that barrack was split up basically, where half of it was new recruits coming in, half of it was drill sergeants or other soldiers going to be drill sergeants, right? Well, my dumbass ran the wrong way. I ran into like 4 guys that were, preparing to be drill sergeants. They started yelling at me and shit. And they told me, hey, why are you running out here by yourself? Now, it was fairly obvious that I was very new there. I still had hair. I had my boots on. They hadn't given me my shoes yet. So I had boots with shorts on. So you could tell that I was pretty new. And I told them what happened. I was like, man, it's barely 4 o'clock. Like, I hadn't slept but 15 minutes. And I was like, it's 4 o'clock. They told us we could sleep till 6:30, and they were going to wake us up. And like, I was going on, right? I was scared. So I thought I was going to get smoked and shit. And the guy goes, nah, man, everybody's probably at chow. It's about maybe a quarter mile down the road or some shit like that. But don't get spotted, because if they catch you without your battle buddy, you're going to get smoked. And so I'm sure you recall, it's pretty woodsy out there in South Carolina. So instead of running down the street, I ran through the woods, and I I made it, man. Long story short, I made it to chow. I got in line, and I saw the guys that were on the bus and the plane with me and everything that went to the barracks with me. I saw them there sitting down. They just got their plate. I went and sat down. They were like, we're looking for you. And I'm like, bullshit. Y'all left me behind. If this was like, this could have been like enemy lines, and I would have been left behind. And so I ate my food, right? But I hadn't slept. And the day before at MEPS, that night, we stayed at the hotel. We all drank, so I didn't sleep that night. The night before that was my last night at home, so I partied it up. I didn't sleep that night either. So I've been like on 3 days without sleep. And I can tell you what, man, that first day in basic felt like 5 days. The day just dragged. And when we went back to chow, when we got in formation afterwards, I see this group of people coming. And in the front, they're all wearing vests. And in the front, it said DS. But at this point, I'm like fucking hallucinating. I haven't slept. And I'm just staring at him like, what the fuck does DS stand for? Right? That's like the only thing going through my mind. And then I realized it stands for drill sergeant. But by that point, he'd already spotted me trying to figure out what the DS stood. And he just bolts towards me, right? And goes, what the F you looking at? This, that, and the third, right? I was like, sorry, drill sergeant. And he's like, get down. And when I got down, I dropped an F-bomb, right? And he's like, what the F did you say? And I was like, F, drill sergeant. And he's like, get down. And I was like, all right. So I got down. I do 10 push-ups. Then he goes, all right, get back up. And in my mind, I'm thinking, shit, that's easy, right? It's cake. Get back down. I do 10 more. Get up. Dude, I did probably 150 fucking push-ups in 10 set reps in front of the entire battalion. It was the most embarrassing thing. And it sucked, man. Did you ever get smoked by yourself in front of everybody?
No, man, that shit I never did. As a matter of fact, like, I'll be honest, man. Like, by the end of basic training, my drill sergeants didn't even know me. They couldn't even pronounce my last name, man. They're like, "Where have you been all this time?" It's like following orders and doing what I had to do. That's what, staying out of trouble and shit.
So your group never got smoked because of you?
Oh, not because of me. I mean, we got smoked for plenty of reasons, but not for me, like, messing it up for everyone else. Most of the time it was contraband and what's it called? You know how it was co-ed. Sometimes they'll find women in the barracks with us. Well, not with us, but with different people. So yeah. We'll get in trouble and stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure. And me, we got smoked once because of me.
I'm sure that's the case.
We had a female drill sergeant that was being a douche, man. And she's just being a dick, dude. And I said out loud, somebody needs to put that tampon where it belongs, and it didn't fly so well. And man, we all got smoked. But my battle buddies were like, dude, we got your back, dude. She was being an ass. And so we all got smoked. It is what it is. I ended up getting medically discharged before I could finish out because I have keratoconus in my eyes. And it is what it is. I ended up just doing basic training. But the police department didn't have any problem with it. So they picked me up when I turned 21. It was all good. But yeah, that is what it is. That was the extent of my career. That's why when a lot of people tell me, are you a veteran or anything, it's like, man, the only thing I did for my country is get yelled at and did a shit ton of push-ups. That's about it. I don't consider myself a veteran or anything because all I did was basic training. I got discharged after that because of my eyesight. But it is what it is. Let's get back into this. So a little trip down memory lane before we start. There's a couple of concerns that have come out with these leaks, right? Yeah. One being that I'm not sure if we're being lied to as a nation or not, but the government is saying that Russia has taken over or around 200,000 casualties. And according to these docs, that's not accurate. It's more around 17,000 casualties. And now the U.S. government is coming out and said that was, what's the word I'm looking for? That it was, that's the only document that has been altered. All the other ones are real. What do you think they would be lying? The government would lie to us about that?
The government lied to us? Get out of here.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Sure.
What's it called? Well, yeah, I heard it was 7-1, right? Death rate. So I don't know, man. Like, the United States military saying that Ukraine's winning the war with these documents. That doesn't really look like it.
Yeah. It's come out saying that it looks like that it's going to end up in a stalemate, right? It's going to be even. That's what the documents or what the United States is alluding to, right? However, there's been some reports that it's only been 17,500 Russian casualties and up to 71,000 Ukrainian casualties. Now, we've seen a lot of like destruction. I don't want to say we've seen videos of the destruction happening. We've seen the end result of the destruction in Ukraine. A lot of buildings and places that have been targeted. Not so much the other way, at least in my experience. I'm sure there is some probably videos out there of Russia being attacked, but we'll start off with you guys. Have you seen any documentation of video evidence of Russia being attacked? Blue? I haven't either. Big Blue, what about you?
I've only seen the one video or images of like the shipyard being attacked.
Oh, okay. I remember there was another video where somebody threw a grenade into like a foxhole or something. You know what I'm saying?
I've seen videos. I don't know if you see them on TikTok where they drop like grenades or with drones and stuff. I don't know if that's Russia on Ukraine or the other way around. I'm not really sure. I just come upon them and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And so, I mean, you look at Russia's a pretty good sized nation, and I mean, I don't know the statistics behind them, like how the population is, what the size of their military is, but they've always been a formidable adversary, and a adversary that we've been concerned with going back, to Soviet Russia days, right? And so, it is concerning, and we also find out that apparently we have some American troops that have been involved in some of this, that have been out there. I sent you guys a article not too long ago. It was actually a while ago. It was probably about maybe a month ago.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not going to go into the details of this, but because I don't know what it is or not, but it says here, 2 helicopters crashed during a training exercise, and then 4 more in the last 14 months from parachute mishaps. Do you guys find those type of like training exercise fatalities to be a little bit odd, especially now with the reports that we've had possibly military forces involved into this war?
Oh man, yeah, it's weird to say the least. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right. What about you, Blue? Do you think that maybe they're in efforts to not disclose that, we have forces that are on the ground here, um, that they would lie about how they would pass?
Uh, I wouldn't put it past them. I'll put it that much. I wouldn't put
Yeah,
it past them because you never see like the crash sites where the helicopters crash, them picking up the debris like they would like a normal, like if it was one of our like commercial jets flying the crashes. You see it all
right,
over the news. They're picking up all the parts and investigating the black boxes. They never say, "Hey, we did an investigation. This is what went wrong on some of those."
right. Yeah, you're right, dude. They don't go into details, and they'll come out saying that they were probably using some sort of equipment that's top secret, and that's why they can't disclose those type of things. But when it comes to those type of things, it does become very suspicious to me. In fact, I showed it to you guys when this occurred. I was like, hey, this says that these two planes crashed doing an exercise. That seems suspicious to y'all. Y'all think it's something else? Thank you, the opinionated idiot with the $2
Yeah.
super chat. Show DTS some love. Smash that like button. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Also, make sure you go subscribe to the opinionated idiot channel. I love that thumbnail, man. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Jinx,
I think I can imitate it. Yeah, there you go.
do it, Blue. Do it. So, when it comes to those type of things, I mean, I know in movies and in shows when top secret stuff goes bad, they're like, all right, we're going to go blame this on some sort of training exercise. I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up being the case in some of these scenarios.
Mhm.
Now, how do you feel as an American, as fathers who potentially could have children one day, be drafted into a possible altercation later on in the future, feel about being lied to about our possible presence in a war that could lead us to becoming a full participant in this war? Is it concerning to you? Do you think that that's some stuff that should be disclosed if we're going to participate in a war? What do you think, Jaime?
Every war that ever been started, not the whole truth has always been told. It's always been some sort of lie behind it. You know what I mean? When you mentioned that there was U.S. soldiers in Ukraine, fighting out there, it just shows you that this war is not what a lot of people thought it was. It might be a proxy war. You know what I'm saying? Big brother getting little brother to fight the bully.
Yeah.
And at this point, it's like the United States doesn't want to officially be in war, so that's why they got Ukraine to. That's why they're helping out. Apparently just helping, but now that we're supposedly these documents are saying that we had American troops on ground.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say that we would have to have the troops on ground for two reasons. We're giving them weapons, and they don't know how to use it, so we got to train them. And they're not going to fly them over here to train them, so they're going to have to do on-site training.
That's a good point, Blue. That is a good point.
And we are part of the war already because we've been giving them the weapons and the money for it. So no matter which way you look at it, we're still involved.
But remember, the Biden administration said that that we're not going to have troops out there.
Yeah. Well, they also said that they were going to help the immigration at the border. I haven't seen one bit of help. So
that's true too.
There was a time where Joe Biden came out and said that. Remember, he came out and was like, "I've seen so and so, and you're going to see it too when you're out there." Remember, he said that. And then
say that again.
He was doing a press conference, and he was talking about how the war is happening in Ukraine, right? And he looked at some of the soldiers out there that were there, and he's like, you'll find out when you get out there. And then they grilled him the next day, and asked him about it. He's like, "Oh, y'all are just making something bigger than it's not. Like I didn't mean it like that. Like they cover it up. You know what I mean?"
Yeah, I doubt that.
This is the rug. This is
pretty much. Now, so here's the thing. So, war has been a means for financial gain, right? It's been used to help out economies. It's been used to get money, things of that nature. You know, I would assume that, especially majority of the American people probably feel that we get involved in a lot of wars that are none of our business. You know what I'm saying? And that perhaps, you know, getting involved into another war like this maybe would bring up a bigger thing or a bigger issue. Do you think that they withhold these type of things because if the American people find out, that might persuade them to vote differently because they don't want to be in a war? What do you think, Jaime?
I think there's two different. There's always going to be that, like, different reasonings why to vote a certain way.
Right.
You know, like you said, like a lot of people are against the war right now going with Ukraine and Russia, especially people who don't see why we're giving so much money to the war when we have so many things to take care of here in America. You know, so this could be a reason why they came out and said that some of these documents were altered. You know, that way they can, you know, kind of say it's kind of true, but not really. That you can't take everything serious about what's being leaked.
Yeah.
So like, I think that's you know, a lot of people. It just depends on what side of the aisle you are. You know.
Right.
Here's one thing that is true that's happening. Russia still, even with all the sanctions that we put on them, is still making way more money off oil sales than they were before the war. And that's because we have they're buying. China and India are buying it directly from them, so they went around everybody else. And also, you know, we're talking about maybe going to war with. I mean, we're in the war with them right now, but China's the one that we really got to look at right now. I mean, they just signed a pretty big deal with Brazil that's cutting us out and gonna make our money a little bit more worthless.
Yeah, everybody needs to look into gold.
Yeah. The money, our paper dollar is gonna be just like the the ruble got crushed, just like that. And the ruble ain't worth much outside of Russia, but the U.S. dollar ain't gonna be worth much outside of U.S. in a few years either. Where we're going.
True. That's true. Now, this document, real quick, right here, shows the losses. Now, they're claiming that Russia released one that was altered that said that they only had 17,000 killed in action, and that Ukraine had 70 something, right? And so this document that has been put out, I guess this is the real one. It says it's still not accurate compared to what the United States was claiming at 200,000 casualties and 75,000 soldiers. This says here 43, so it's about half. And 6,004 ground vehicles they say Ukraine is at 17.5 killed in action. Does that look doctored to you guys? I don't think it does, but it could be. It is. It could be.
Well, go back. Okay, you're good. I thought it was something else.
And this is I think this is a picture that what was it? USA Today used to track him down with a picture of that floor.
Right. There was a few. There was a picture of a floor. There was a tile, and you have a flyer up here. What's back there?
That's crazy how they had the they had his address and everything before the
FBI.
FBI did. And you know the craziest part is that he pretty much just released his documents to show off.
Yeah, supposedly that's all it was. There wasn't anything else involved in it other than he was showing off to his buddies.
Right?
Yeah.
What
He's
do
like-
you think is? Oh, go ahead.
I was say he supposedly just thought he was what's he called, sharing them with his friends on that specific server.
Right, but
Well, it's like a room, almost like a chat room, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where like people who
Yeah.
talk with Minecraft stuff.
yeah, he started off see, he's been doing it for a while because he started off first telling people, and then he would type it out like some of the things that he was seeing.
Yeah,
And when nobody was believing him, he just started pushing out.
yeah. They called him a cuck.
He just started pushing it out. But you know, when you go for your top security clearance and things of that nature, there's a lot of parameters that you have to oblige by and pass. It's not very it's not the easiest thing. And you know, they you know, for somebody to do this, well, I mean, there's reasons why a lot of these things don't come out.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? The military is usually pretty good on at least threatening people not to disclose top secret information, and they use that as leverage to keep them honest, right? And
Yeah.
so I know several people that have their top security clearance or had top security clearance and stuff like that, and like I know one person, I'm not going to say who they are, but I try to get them to give me information about any UFO type of stuff. I was like, hey,
Oh, okay.
I was like, you're top secret. What do you know about UFOs? And this person wouldn't tell me anything for the longest time until I got them drunk. And then I asked them, I was like, what do you know about UFOs? And then
Calm down, Cody.
they told me, it's like, man, I searched it, but they ain't shit. And so I was like, damn it. So I don't know if he just told me that to shut me up. You know what I'm saying? But this person told me, yeah, I searched it, but I couldn't find shit. And this person's security clearance would have is significantly higher than what this little 21-year-old airman had. And so, is it true? I don't know. But the other kind of go ahead, Blue.
Say these guys got money. They print it in color.
Hey man, the military will pay a lot. They'll pay like 10 grand for a hammer, bro. And so
Yeah, I know they will.
so a lot of other stuff that had came out was that the United States was just not just spying on foes, but also spying on their allies, such as Israel, such as South Korea, and so on. One of the things that some people were talking about is that this could have been purposely leaked because they're trying to build a divide between, like, one of those Israeli countries out there and Russia. I'm not necessarily sure how true that is, but I know that Russia was making also agreements with oil when it came to like Saudi Arabia and stuff, right? Is that accurate? And so I think maybe some folks were trying to say that this was initially had been put out there just so to try to build a rift there. But apparently that's not the case. How do you guys feel? All right, so if you were we're Americans, right? We found out that one of our allies was spying on us. Do you think there would be something there? And do you think our government would be pissed off? And I don't know. What do you think would happen, Jaime?
If you were spying on me, it depends where. It just shows the lack of trust. You know what I mean? It shows that it shows the United States is pretty much spying on everyone. It doesn't matter who.
That's true.
Like
That's
it's
true.
I mean, come on. Didn't Snowden come out with that?
Yeah, Snowden came out saying that not only was the government, they were spying on us, the citizens of the United States.
Yeah.
And they were basically what they were doing was using information to, like, I don't want to say blackmail but maybe threaten certain people. Like they were finding out that people may have had somebody in their family who was from somewhere else, and they would threaten with deportation, things of that nature for information, and things like that. According to the movie, I don't know too much of the real stuff, but yeah, in the movie. So Brave Angel says, put that back up there real quick. In my opinion, this leak is a soft release on purpose. The USA corrupt government and others is going down. It's possible. I mean, it really could be that this was a situation where it was a soft leak or purposely done. I'll tell you what, he went pretty peacefully.
Mm-hmm.
This is him getting arrested. Not too long ago, they were trying to arrest a former government official. I remember who his name was. And he didn't make it out this way. And so there's been a lot of people when they go after you, it's not usually an arrest.
Right. It's or you hear these. Well, you know what? I'm not gonna go there.
Go there.
Like some politicians have charges against them, and then somehow, when the trial is about to start, those people just end up missing or being unaliving themselves, which is weird.
Yeah, that is weird. What do you think, Big Blue? Do you think it was? Do you think this could be a soft leak? Do you think this could be something that we're doing?
I think maybe because the truth will come out eventually. The truth will always come out because we're not the only ones that are, I guess, keeping intelligence on them.
Mm-hmm.
We're not the only country, so there's a lot of countries that know the truth. And then supposedly these debriefings go to a lot of our embassies, right? So, there could be a lot more people that, not other countries that have this information already, so that's why they're not too worried about it. I didn't see that they canceled Prince Charles's inauguration or whatever. Katy Perry and what's his name are still going to go sing at his inauguration.
That's crazy, dude.
They come out on American Idol. What's his name?
Nah.
Lionel Richie.
Not Katy Perry. I'd rather go see Taylor Swift.
You rather see Swift?
I'm actually am, so.
I was gonna say, man, when is that concert you're going to?
This weekend. Yeah, this weekend, Houston.
Nice, man. You told me about that, and I told you, hey, but I asked if you were gonna do what our friend Hugo did when he went to go see Britney Spears. He was like in the second row with binoculars. I was like, yo, dude, that's probably not right.
I'll be in the seventh row.
You're gonna be in the seventh row,
yeah,
with a telescope,
night vision goggles.
Oh man, you're funny. But yeah, man, I mean, there's been a lot of stuff that's been coming out about these leaks, and in my opinion, it's just one of those things where it's not looking good, and it's making the United States kind of look a little bit. It's embarrassing for in the manner of which it came out. And what do you think this kid's punishment should be? He's being charged under the Espionage Act, which has some pretty heavy penalties. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you think he should be at the full force of the law at this point?
Yeah, but you can always pardon him. I mean,
I don't know if they're gonna pardon him.
Yeah, I don't think he's. I feel like he's the fall guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think something's up. I mean, I think all these leaks are always on purpose. I really do. There's something always behind it.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, Blue.
I think when he got the clearance, he knew what the punishment could have been if he would have leaked it. So he knows what's coming to him. It's going to be jail time, and it's going to be a long time.
It's going to be a while. And so this is from Al Jazeera. I hope I pronounced that right. these are a couple of things that the documents show. So it says Ukraine, if proven authentic, the leak suggests that the U.S. has been monitoring Ukraine. President Zelensky calls with defense and military officials by using signals intelligence. They also revealed apparent weakness in Ukraine's air defense systems and the size of the military battalions. And so we're spying on the Ukrainian president. Didn't Putin give Trump like a soccer ball or something with a microphone in it too?
The what?
I had heard about that. I don't know how true it is, so I might need to get fact checked on it. But I had heard that that he had given Trump like a soccer ball or a football or something. I don't know. There was like a radio antenna in it or something. I'm gonna look it up.
Oh yeah, I think I heard about that. Yeah, you're right. I don't know if that was true though. I don't know.
I'm gonna look it up real quick. Putin gives ball to Trump. Yeah, it's a soccer ball. And he went to go check it out for the World Cup, and apparently there was like a microphone or some shit inside of it. Or a flash drive.
You should use air.
Yeah. I guess he was like, yeah, Trump's not gonna be playing soccer. He's not gonna kick it. He won't know. And so but it boils down to, at the end of the day, history is written by the victors. So I'll leave that also there. So this also says Russia. The documents would also reveal that U.S. had penetrated the Russian military forces and that the Wagner Group, a mercenary organization, much more than previously understood. The documents also revealed reference details about internal planning of the GRU, Russia's military intelligence agency. Much of that information on Russian troops movements was gathered through human sources who could now be at risk. So that is a huge risk. Yeah. If that is to be true. Like, basically what that means is that they have spies in Russia, and they have certain information that was given to them, and that by this information being released would almost identify who those spies are. And so that is.
But wouldn't you believe that there's Russian spies here? I'm pretty sure there is.
I'm fairly positive there's Russian, Chinese, the whole nine yards. But if they're, they have penetrated their military force, so they're just in their military, and the Wagner Group. What's a mercenary organization? So that's like Wagner Group. I'm assuming is like the same thing when military personnel retire or leave the military and then go back to Iraq or whatever under civilian security. Yeah. And so I'm assuming that's what the Wagner Group is for Russia. So the documents reference the internal planning of the GRU. That is very dangerous. So let's go forward. It says United Arab. One document appears to show that the U.S. spies had caught Russian intelligence officers boasting that they had convinced oil-rich UAE to work together against U.S. and UK intelligence agencies. And so this is the part that I was talking about, because Arab and Russia were trying to make this oil agreement, right? And which would really screw the United States. And they're saying that maybe perhaps this was a way to divide that. What do you guys think about that?
Isn't everything dividing?
Yeah, divide and conquer.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know, man. I see the gas prices right now, and now that I have to go to Houston, it's gonna be crazy.
Damn, dude, that is gonna be crazy. Right now, where I'm at, it's usually cheaper than a lot of places, and it was like $3.20 a gallon. So I can't even imagine what it is outside.
The new average is gonna be $3.70 by next week. They already said it.
Is it because of these leaked documents?
Yes.
Right.
I had to be at the time where my smaller car that's gas efficient breaks down, so I had to drive the Yukon now. God dang.
I'm gonna have to
$75 to fill a tank.
I'm gonna have to bust out the Honda Civic more often. Let's see. This one says Egypt. One leaked document appeared to show that Egypt planned to supply Russia with rockets and munitions. The paper dated February 17th. Whoa, everything's jumping. Claims to summarize conversations between President of Egypt and senior Egyptian military officials. And so, yeah, just spying on everybody. South Korea. Another document appears to provide details of alleged internal discussions among the top aides in South Korea president that suggests that the U.S. applied pressure to Seoul to help supply the U.S. with artillery shells, which then could be sent to Ukraine. It also indicates that the U.S. spied on its ally, although Southern Korean officials claimed on Tuesday that details contained in the document are untrue and altered. Now, if you know, to save yourself embarrassment, wouldn't you say that they're untrue and altered?
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's what I'm thinking too.
As soon as they say that, you know they're true.
Yeah. I mean, these things were out for a long time. I think they started in December is when the leaks started getting out. And so these were aware. They just didn't find out about it until recently. And so, I don't know. All right, let's see. Israel. One document, which appears to be CIA intelligence, update from March 1st suggests that Mossad, Israel's intelligence agency, was encouraging its officers to participate in protests against their government's plans to weaken the independence of judiciary. Israel's denied Mossad played a role in the anti-government protest. Man, that's fucked up for them. Like, you know, it's kind of like here, right? There's been a lot of rumors or whatever that sometimes they put government officials out there to push one agenda or the other, and then to find out that the anti-government agenda was from the government. Like, like, how do you justify that?
I remember a certain event that we should not speak of.
Oh, but we should.
No.
What does it start with? Does it start with a 9?
Yeah. The number.
All right. I just wanted to make sure. And so they're not saying that they did something to that severity, but that they played a role in the anti-government protests. I'm concerned or curious to what these anti-government protests were protesting against. And so, oh, geez, $4.83 a gallon where I live. That's insane.
Damn.
That is insane. Oh, man. Oh, no. UFTO toker. My car just died with a full tank.
Where?
Sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that.
Where? So I can go get the siphon it out.
Right.
Premium? Was it premium?
Was it premium? I can sell that back, dude. Like, I'm here to sell. That's what I'd be trying to do. And so, a bunch of stuff out there, guys. A bunch of stuff out there. You know, I just feel that. Does this make you feel like you trust the government any less? We'll start off with you, Big Blue.
No, because I already don't trust them 100%. No. I mean, what can I tell you? I've seen a lot more than other people have in certain things.
Yeah.
And so I keep my eyes open. And plus, one thing you can also do is, I know some of y'all might understand it, but just watch the Mexican news channels, man. They put a lot more out than we do.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, I found a lot of the stuff when I was searching this stuff was from other countries because it was getting difficult to find anything looking at just, you know, USA type of media.
Censor it.
Yeah. It's super censored.
They don't give us the full information. So I want to find out more. Listen to the BBC. Listen to, you know, some of the not norm, you know, Fox News, CNN. Try something else. You'll find out there's more stories out there.
That's true. That's true. Angel D goes, who does this league benefit? I don't know, man. It doesn't benefit the United States to leak this out at this point, unless they're trying to purposely get out of going to war. Maybe if they accidentally tell people that we're already there, they have to pull out. I don't understand the benefit. What do you see any benefit, Jaime, of releasing this information if it was a soft disclosure?
No, because it just implicates the United States being in a war that supposedly we're not part of. We're just pretty much sending money, supposedly. That's it.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Speaking of that, man, I was listening to a couple of these shows, and apparently they've. I think it was one of the BBC channels or whatever. They were talking about how they suspected the president of Ukraine taking a little bit of money out of that couple billion that the United States sent over there, somewhere around $400 million.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. It's about almost $500 million of the billions that the our taxpayers, us, you, me, everybody that's in the United States listening to this are paying.
Yeah.
That's
Sure.
crazy.
I mean, they did the same thing when we sent money to Afghanistan. Same thing when we sent money to
Don't
everybody else.
don't look too far, man. Only politicians do that
Oh yeah,
All right.
on both sides.
yep.
And one too, I don't deny conspiracy theories. I'm probably one of the ones that believe in a lot more conspiracy theories than you think. There might be a couple that I don't fall, in line with, such as I don't think, like, for instance, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania is assisting Moscow and the FBI in framing Brian Koberger. Doesn't make any sense to me. It's multi-agency frame job. Doubt it. I don't believe in those type of things. But when it comes to the government, and I really don't, trust them. Like, I'm for the least amount of government ever. And yes, Steelers fan, you're absolutely right. I have to probably change my searches. You know what? There's probably a reason why my computer's been working slow since. I probably got all this spyware on it. It's been working pretty slow. But yeah, guys, we just wanted to bring some attention and just, have a basic conversation real quick about these leaks and about Jack Teixeira. I, for one, think that regardless of anything, even if he was just trying to be, cool or whatever the case may be with his friends and showing them these documents, that's a mistake that's going to cost him his freedom for a while. And rightfully so. He's put a lot of people in danger if it ends up being 100% true, especially, those that are doing the spying for our government. Our government needs to be on top of things like that to make sure that things aren't about to happen. For instance, if they're not spying in Russia or those places, then we're going to get sidelined or blindsided by something, right?
Yeah.
Now, one last thing that I want to bring up before we let everybody go was apparently there was more Chinese spy balloons than we're aware of. There was 4 of them. And so I already thought that first one, the one that everybody knows about that crossed the entire United States, was a big deal. To the point where they allowed it to cross the entire United States. I almost felt like it was allowed to happen. What are your thoughts on that before we let everybody go? We'll start off with you, Jaime.
About the balloons?
Yeah.
Supposedly there was I heard there was between 4 and 9 the past couple of years.
Jeez.
And some of them went all the way right through, what's it called? Airspace that, that really the security is super high on,
Right.
And, they got some information out of it and whatnot. But that's crazy too. Like how can I say, like, how certain things are more important for the government than actually, like, national security at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I don't want to get political, so I'll save that for another day.
What about you, Big Blue?
Man, I don't know how they lost 49 balloons by accident. Just like, we have a parade every year during Christmas time, and they have a shit ton of balloons, and they never lose those. Maybe because us Americans weigh more and we can hold them down. I don't know.
Maybe. No, not that one. That was so. Real quick, I want to answer some of this real quick. I believe in the theory. There's a painting out there with a former president and two Jenga buildings on the ground with a paper plane in his hand. Take that for what it is. If you know, you know. What that's, I strongly suspect that theory is true. To be 110% honest with you, I don't trust anything the government tells us. I really don't. I'm for, when it comes to everything, I'm for less government. I'm for less restrictions. I'm for less of all those things. I believe that, the government is spying on everybody, and that's just, it is what it is. Like a lot of, like, for instance, this, the neural chip or whatever that Elon Musk wants to do, outside of the fact that that's probably a super dangerous surgery, it's probably going to be a common thing, like a phone, in the next 50 years or so. And, people that don't want to put the neural link because, I don't know, they're afraid they're going to get their secrets or whatever traced or listen in, they already do. Phones, computers, all that stuff listens to everything that you're listening into. Steelers Nation Australia comes in with, I don't trust the government. I don't either, man. I don't either.
You put Gooberment from SpongeBob.
I'll finish the show off with the with my, when I got released from the military. So how I told you guys I have keratoconus, right? So I was an IT guy. I was a 25 Bravo. It's an information system operator analysis. Now, when I enlisted, it was in like 2004. And so we were in the middle of Iraqi freedom and war was happening. I had a friend who was out there. Now, when I enlisted my job, I knew it was a top secret job, and that was it. They didn't tell me much about the job. And so when I went into my top security liaison meeting, I asked them, they were going through my stuff. They're asking me like, hey, have you ever left the country? And I'm like, shit, 3 times a week to Mexico, bro. And so, yeah, it is what it is. So they had a long time searching all that shit up. But at the end of it, I asked him, I was like, hey, man, what's my job? What's my job? And the guy tells me, well, the reason why your security clearance is so high and what you're going to be doing is you're an IT guy, computer tech. If a virus goes into a computer, you have to have the security clearance to enter all of those folders and everything in that computer. And you'll be putting those into tanks, Humvees, and, choppers, the whole 9 yards. And had he left it at that, I strongly suspect that I would have probably done 20 years in the military. But they didn't. The guy tells me also, depending on how far you get in, if something were to fall to the ground, either foreign or extraterrestrial, you could be responsible for figuring out what that is. And so I heard the term extraterrestrial, so my ears puckered up, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm going to Area 51. I ain't even said that. I'm going to Area 51. The guys laughed at me and said, nah, it's nothing like that, right? The next day, man, I get called into medical, and I sit down. Lady comes in, doesn't check my eyes, doesn't do shit, and tells me I have keratoconus or something like that, where the eye, the cornea or whatever it's called, continues to cone out till you eventually go blind. Now, I'm scared shitless because this lady is basically telling me that I could go blind at any moment, right? And so I'm like, all right, what do I got to do? And they're like, well, first you're getting discharged from the military. It is what it is. And I was like, all right, no problem. And I said I couldn't enlist anywhere else. And they're like, no, this is a chronic illness. You'll never get rid of it. You're gone. It's like, all right, no big deal. And so I'm assuming it's Wednesday. I'm assuming by Saturday I'd be partying it up. Shit. 9 weeks later, they're finally sending me home. Right. I go to an eye specialist, and that eye specialist says all I have is astigmatism, but I don't have keratoconus. Now, I will say this. In the last 5 years, my right eye has developed keratoconus. So I do have it. But at the time when I was 19 years old, they said I didn't. All I had was astigmatism. And so I was looking at my DD-214, and I was showing it with my my buddy who has that top security clearance. And under my discharge, it says that I was eligible to re-enlist within 6 months. And everybody else that was discharged with a chronic illness, whether it was epilepsy, asthma, or whatever the case may be, said that they were disqualified from being in the military again. And so when I talked to my buddy, he thinks that the reason why they discharged me had to do more with the fact that I said something they didn't like, probably alluding to Area 51, versus actually having that. So it is what it is. But I will say they brought that up. And no, J Dubs, the VA didn't want to take care of that because I was not there for 180 days. They got me out of there before the 180-day mark to make sure that they didn't have to take care of me no more. It is what it is. But that's my story. That's what happened in my military career. You're all muted, but y'all got any final words before we let everybody go?
Oh man, yeah, have a good day. Well, take care.
Yeah, we'll be here on Wednesday. We look forward to it. Please hit that like and subscribe. Ring that notification bell. Yes, Erica, 9 weeks later, it's hurry up and wait in the military. With that being said, we're the Drunk Turkey Show. We'll see you guys on Wednesday. Peace.
Later, man.
Later.
This will end eventually.
We'll see.